Dancing beat. Hi everyone, I'm your best friend, back in town again. Hi everyone, I'm your best friend, back in town again. Let me get you on your dancing beat. Hi everyone, I'm your best friend, back in town again. Let me get you on your dancing beat.
Hey trainers, it's Dalton
and Mike.
And welcome back to another episode of Pokemon MD. So this week we thought it'd be fun to start a little series where we go through each type of Pokemon and talk about like our top 3 favorites. Because and the reason why we're doing like top 3 instead of like top 5 or top 10 is because we're going to be covering 3 types within each episode, and we don't want each episode to be like an hour long.
Yeah, we're trying to just get through every single type, and then there being 17, 5 types, 17,
18.
That adds up quickly. 18, sorry. It is early.
It is early. We both are just waking up. We have been awake for 30 minutes. But nevertheless, let's get started with one of the hottest types. I can't believe I made that pun. The fire type. Mike, would you like to start us off?
Yeah, I'll start us off. So for this list, keep in mind that we are doing no starters on this list, because if we did do starters,
it would be nothing but starters.
It would be nothing but starters in the fire grass category, which is the categories we'll be covering today. So, my first Pokemon in the fire category is Arcanine. I loved Arcanine as a kid. Gary had one in the anime. It was classified as a legendary Pokemon, which is interesting to me still. But when you see that, you're like, oh, I want it. So, I remember catching a Growlithe and evolving it into Arcanine. It didn't make it on my team when I played, Fire Red, but I did like the Pokemon. You want to go with yours next, the fire Pokemon?
Yeah. With Arcanine, I do think that's like a really good Pokemon. In the anime, I was super pissed that May didn't catch the Arcanine that she was after, or yet just catch one of the Growlithe. That I'm surprised one of the Growlithe didn't be like, "Hey, you saved our mom. I want to go with you now." But my first Pokemon on my list is also from Kanto, and it's Rapidash. And that's because I grew up on a ranch, and my favorite animal is a horse. And I got introduced to the anime kind of late, so I jumped in the middle of the Kanto saga, and I jumped in at the episode where Ponyta and Rapidash got introduced, and I was like, oh, that's a fire horse. That's a fire unicorn. I like this. These are now instantly my favorite Pokemon. And anytime I get the chance, I honestly try and use one on my team. Just because, like I said, it's my favorite Pokemon of any Pokemon out there.
I remember seeing Rapidash, and I thought, oh, that's cool. And then I had Charmander, and I was like, man, I can't justify another fire type on my team. So, while I liked it and I liked its ability, I was like, I don't have room for it on my team. If I try to play through a Kanto game without a fire starter, though, I would probably pick up either Arcanine or Rapidash, because those two are the best fire types in that region.
Mm-hmm.
So, my fire Pokemon is Magmortar, who was introduced to us in Gen 4, which I already liked Magmar. I mean, Magmar because Charizard had that battle with Magmar in Blade's Gym. And when they introduced that in Gen 4, I was like, oh my gosh, I gotta have it. But I never got it. I actually have never ever used Grand Mortar on one of my teams, but I've always just admired it. Again, because I always pick a fire starter. So couldn't find space for it on my team. I definitely want to replay Diamond and Pearl games one day to try to play it without fire starter and then maybe pick him up. But I love the cannons. I love the way he looks. I know he comes out in, because I actually watched it the other day in a Alolan episode.
Mm-hmm.
And that was pretty cool. But yeah, that's my second favorite fire Pokemon.
Yeah, definitely the design is a good upgrade on the original. My next Pokemon that I have on my list is Chandelure. And I know Gen 5 honestly gets a lot of hate because it was basically a reset of the Pokemon games. But, I mean, I still enjoyed it. I still liked it. Did I think it, went pretty long in between Gen 5 and Gen 6? Yes. But especially the anime. The anime was good and everything, but, it definitely, that was one of the longer animes that I can remember. But it was fun, and one of the coolest Pokemon that I think came out of that was Chandelure, because the ghost type is probably one of my favorite types, and then so is fire, and just combine both of them and you get a super cool and creepy Pokemon. And I honestly, its design is just so cool. It's perfect. I don't see how you could change it to upgrade it or whatnot. If it was given a Mega, I mean, I'd be happy because I'd be like, oh hey, one of my favorites got a Mega. But I don't see how you could improve upon a really cool design already, because it's so simplistic.
Yeah, so first off, I do not like your Chandelure when you use it when we battle in Pokemon Showdown. I always struggle with it, so...
He doesn't know how to kill it.
Not one of my favorites, but it is an interesting design. Ghost Fire, that's a cool typing. I like unusual typings like that.
Mm-hmm.
You don't expect to see Ghost and Fire in the typing, but...
Honestly, I'm surprised there aren't more Ghost Fire types.
Yeah, there should be more just different kind of typing. I mean, don't do anything stupid like water grass. I know Ludicolo is, that's cool, but...
Yeah. I do...
not too many of those, but...
I do like how Chandelure's flames are blue and purple to represent ghostly fire, and that's another thing that drew me to it was it wasn't a traditional fire type.
Yeah, no, it wasn't she was the color red and orange.
Yeah, but I hope with this UK region we're getting in Gen 8, the Galar region, that they draw a little bit from Scottish Celtic mythology and make a Will-o'-the-Wisp Pokemon and make that a ghost fire type.
Yeah, that'd be really cool. And then don't they already have this Will-o'-Wisp, so that's kind of cool.
Yeah, Will-o'-Wisp is already a move, but if they had a Will-o'-the-Wisp Pokemon, that'd be... I feel like that would just fit the region. But this is not a Gen 8 hopes and speculations video. That one was already made and will possibly be made further in the future as we get more information.
Okay, so my last favorite fire Pokemon is Talonflame. Because, in the early part of games you can pick up, Starly, you can pick up Pidgey, Pokemon like that, and then they just become flying Pokemon, and that's cool. I like Starly, I love that line. But Talonflame, you get a flying Pokemon, that is awesome. I like both of them. I like both types, fire and flying. But the fact that you can get it and work on it early in the game, to me that's just awesome. And I like I like Ash's Talonflame in the anime. But I just think it's cool. I like the design, the name. I like everything about it.
Yeah, definitely. It was like a nice change from the traditional like early bird Pokemon where it's like, oh, it's a normal flying type, and changing it to ooh, it's a fire flying type. I hope they do continue that because they kind of like regressed in Gen 7 with giving us Toucannon, which honestly Toucannon's pretty bomb. Like, but it was nice to, you know, have a little bit of change. Instead of the normal flying type, we get a different type flying for the early game bird Pokemon. But my last Pokemon that I have on my list is Vulpix. And this is strictly because it is cute as hell. And I loved when Brock had one in the anime, and I'm so happy he didn't evolve it. I mean, I like Ninetales. Ninetales is a good Pokemon, but I just think that Vulpix is cuter, and I want to own one. And it would be like my little lap Pokemon, and that just, you know, happen to know like some strong fire type moves.
I actually never got to play with Vulpix. I always liked it in the anime. But I played Fire Red, and I think it was exclusive to Leaf Green, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah. I think if it was like that, might have been revert. Yeah, no, I think it was exclusive to Leaf Green.
Yeah, so I just never got to use it because at that time it was either buy Leaf Green or buy Emerald.
Mm-hmm.
And I went with Emerald.
Understandable.
And then, so I never got to play with Vulpix, but I've always liked it. I do like Ninetales. I like what they did with Alola.
Oh, yes. Alolan Ninetales is amazing.
Yeah, that's a cool type in there for the Alolan version, but I never got to use Vulpix, but I do like it. I do also realize that Kanto has a lot of fire Pokemon that are not Charizard, so
Kanto does have a lot of fire type Pokemon.
So let's go ahead and move on. So we're going to go to grass now.
A calming type.
I'll go ahead and kick things off with Roserade. I like Roserade because the grass poison is, you know, it's the basic typing for a grass Pokemon, but it fits so well. I believe Cynthia has one on her team.
She does.
That was the only Pokemon that I actually straight up had no trouble with.
Yeah, because Cynthia, like, was cancer, and, like, we all love her for it, but, like, and just because she's a cool, like, champion and everything, but she was straight up cancer.
Yeah, no, definitely that was, that's a topic for another video. That's a great battle. But having Infernape, I was able to just destroy it. But I like it, as, you know, it's another one of those Pokemon that its evolution was revealed in Gen 4, which that was so amazing at the time that we got extra evolution. And it just fits so well. I like, you know, the bouquet looking, it was awesome, and not much else to say for Roserade.
Yeah, definitely. Like, it's a cool, like, beautiful Pokemon that, like, if it hits you with its roses, it could poison you. So,
yeah.
My Pokemon I have on this list to start this list off is Ludicolo, and I know it's primarily water and secondary grass, but I filled up my water typing before I started on my grass typing. But I love Ludicolo because I think it's just a funny Pokemon because it's so carefree, but it's so strong. And just the way that it constantly dances throughout battle is amazing. And Brock's Ludicolo was the best thing in the world. I was so sad when he left it at the gym to re-travel through Kanto in the Battle Frontier with Ash. Because I was like, no, why did you leave Ludicolo? I mean, yeah, you still have Mudkip and Fortress, but like, why? You could have had Ludicolo with you, and it could have learned another move. Because I think the only moves that it knew were like either Water Gun or Hydro Pump, Bullet Seed, and Razor Leaf, which are decent moves, but I'm like, you could have learned more.
Yeah. I like Ludicolo. Every time you and I battle on Showdown, I always try to put him in there because of that dual typing. I liked him in the anime. I remember seeing him in Gen 6, I want to say.
Yeah, there was a trainer that had a Ludicolo that battled one of Ash's rivals.
Yeah, but the thing is, he had that dancing battle style, and it fit Ludicolo so well.
Oh, yeah.
Ludicolo already does that. And it was just an interesting concept, and it fit so well. I like Ludicolo. I was going to put him on my team until you submitted your team first, and stole him from me.
I did. I stole it from him.
So it took, I had to put Roserade in there, but it would have been Ludicolo.
Yeah, because I took Ludicolo from him, he took Roserade from me.
Which I would definitely trade, but...
Yeah.
So, my next Pokemon is going to be, bear with me on the pronunciation, but it's going to be Terminus. It's going to be Abomasnow.
You got that right, Abomasnow.
Okay, cool. Yeah, another Gen 4 Pokemon. I love the grass ice typing because ice resists grass, right?
Ice resist. Yes, ice resist grass. I had to think about that for a moment. It's still early, Mike.
I know it is early. But I like the fact that they put those two typing together. I like that you catch it, in the snow and Sinnoh. It also just looks creepy. Like, it looks like it's scary.
It's supposed to be like the Abominable Snowman.
Yeah. So I remember playing with it a little bit in Sinnoh. It didn't make my final team, but I did have it on my team for a little bit. I like the move pool. It was an awesome Pokemon. Not much else to say for it.
Well, to add on to that, like, in Gen 6, when it got a Mega, that just, like, added to it and made it look more fierce.
Oh, yeah, the Mega is incredible looking.
But, I will say one glaring weakness is, like, it gets hit with an Ember and it dies.
That is true. I mean, don't use it against a fire type. But,
yeah. You use Abomasnow against a fire type, like, what are you doing?
Yeah, you're done. You're asking for it at that point. You don't deserve to have Abomasnow.
Yeah. So, my next Pokemon on my list is Whimsicott from Gen 5. Again, another Pokemon that, like, made it onto my list because of the cute factor. I think it's, and again, and also, like, I do like a little bit of a simplistic design. I love the ones, the Pokemon that are, like, really intricate and really thought through. Not to say that, like, Whimsicott and Chandelure weren't thought through all the way, but it's just, like, it's so perfect, in my opinion, and it's adorable, and then the fact that it got a Fairy type added in Gen 6 was just icing on the cake. And its move pool is pretty decent. Like, it can learn, like, strong moves like Seed Bomb, like Moonblast and Hurricane. Like, it can, a grass type, a small little, like, Cotton Floof can learn Hurricane.
Yeah, I never took Whimsicott seriously, never was like, yeah, I want that Pokemon. I was just like, oh, let me just catch it for the PC. But it's an interesting Pokemon.
It is, and a lot of the Pokemon that I chose based on, like, because if I were in the Pokemon world, I would definitely be like a coordinator, like May or Dawn. And I chose Pokemon that would like help me win contests. Because A,
Yeah.
I think they're amazing, and B, they definitely like could win contests.
I definitely pick Pokemon that are going to be, battling with me. Not in contests, So that's why when the contest, I overlooked it. Wasn't one of the Pokemon that I was like, yeah, I need to put him on the list or anything like that. And then when you put him on the list, I'm like, oh, you put him on there because he's probably cute.
Hmm.
So my last Pokemon in the grass category is going to be Ferrothorn.
Ferrothorn, yeah.
Ferrothorn, yeah. Grass and Steel. That is a cool typing.
Again, if you get hit by Ember, you'll die.
Yes, there's a thing there. If you hit me with Ember, I will be done. But interesting Pokemon. I definitely like Steel type.
I definitely like its ability Iron Barbs, where like if you get hit it with a physical attack, you get damage.
Yeah. That's just an interesting ability. It's kind of like, when you hit Pikachu and you get paralyzed, or a poison Pokemon, you get poisoned. So that's cool if they threw that in there. It does take a while to evolve it, though.
It does.
Evolve level 40, and it does level up, in an okay pace. So if you put in the time and work for it, you can get it. Just, don't use it against the fire type, because don't put him and a Bombshell on the same team.
Yeah.
You'll be asking for it at that point.
Yeah, this is like, I want to lose. My last Pokemon that I have on my grass list is Gourgeist, and this is probably one of my favorite Pokemon, just because like I said, I like the Ghost type a little. Like, the Ghost type is one of my favorite types, and I love Halloween. I love Halloween so much. Like, that is my favorite holiday. Like, Mike can tell you, I start planning for my Halloween costume in, like, February.
No, that's a lie. You start planning for your Halloween costume November 1st.
True.
True.
But whenever I saw that there was, like, a jack-o'-lantern Pokemon, I was like, this is going on my team. Girl, yes. And then
You use it.
I did use it. I used it in like almost every team, and I ended up getting a supersized Pumpkaboo, which I was like, yes! I got the biggest size. And then the fact that Jessie had one in the anime, I was like, this is just too perfect. And her Gourgeist knew like some good moves. Like, it knew Seed Bomb, like Dark Pulse and Shadow Ball. The only thing like that I think it would have been like amazing if it learned, and the fact that it can learn this, a grass type can learn this, is it learned Flamethrower. If her Gourgeist learned Flamethrower, that would have been amazing.
That is crazy. It should not know Flamethrower.
It as a grass ghost type, it shouldn't. Like, the only fire type move it should possibly learn should be like Will-O-Wisp or something, but like the fact that it's a jack-o'-lantern Pokemon and it's got like jack-o'-lanterns have candles in them, it can learn Flamethrower. Also, the fact that like Jessie used Gourgeist in like the showcases and it used its internal lights as like spotlights was just amazing.
I have seen your Gourgeist on your Halloween team that you create.
I also love it shiny. The shiny Gourgeist is,
I actually never, again, took it like as a Pokemon that I wanted because it just didn't appeal to me, like looking wise. It is cool, but it was never like, oh, I want that Jack-O'-Lantern Pokemon. To me, it was more of like a theme thing. like something that you'd release like around Halloween. And I never was like, I want it, but I do like it. I like it when you use it against me, and I have a fire type out there.
Yeah, but I'll just use Phantom Force and dodge, like at least stay alive for an attack for a second.
Yes, don't remind me. To water now.
The cool
my
type.
First favorite.
Before we start this list, I wanted to point out a moment in the anime that I loved and will always watch, like, no matter what. And that's in the Johto Saga, the World Cup competition. That was so cool. I wish they would. I wish the anime did more stuff like that. Like they had like an Olympic style battling, kind of like a mini Pokemon League, but they could only use water types. And I just thought that was like the coolest idea and like storyline that they did. I'm sad it only was for like 3 or 4 episodes. But I just thought that was the coolest thing in the world, and I kind of like I structured my favorite list around not only that, but again contests. I don't know if you remember that, Mike, or not. I don't know if you watched that part or not.
I don't know if I did or not. It sounds familiar, but I don't remember it 100%.
Like Ash and Misty battled, and Misty won. Spoiler alert, Misty won with her Psyduck.
Okay, now I remember. Yeah, I remember Misty winning with Psyduck. Going back into the list, though, my first water Pokemon is a Pokemon that I feel is kind of underrated. Nobody really, looks into it all that much, but it's Kingdra.
Oh, yes. Super underrated Pokemon.
It's a water dragon. Need I say more?
Yeah, the only other Pokemon that has that typing is Palkia.
Yeah. So the fact that you can get a water dragon, yeah, you have to catch, Horty, and then go Seadra, and then Kingdra. But it's a water dragon. I don't think I have to say much more than that. Just crazy fast. Good move pool.
Great design.
Yeah. It's water dragon. I don't think I need to say any more than that. I'm gonna just say that it's water dragon.
It's water dragon. It wins. It is Claire's Kingdra and Heart Gold, Soul Silver, and just regular Gold, Silver, and Crystal. Like, is hard to beat.
Yeah. No. Definitely.
But my first Pokemon I have on this list is Gorobus. Another Pokemon that made it on the list because of cuteness and everything. But I saw this Pokemon in Gen 3 as like the branched evolution of Clamperl. And I loved it so much because I thought its design was just like so smooth, so sleek, and just so pretty. And the fact that it's got a decent move pool, like it. And then when the move Shell Smash was introduced, it became unstoppable.
Yeah. This is one of those Pokemon that I was just like, that was cool, but I'm gonna go catch this one.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I can see you getting the other evolution. I can see you getting Huntail.
Yeah, I like Huntail. Okay, so for my second water Pokemon, it's gonna be Starmie. I like the water psychic typing. I like Misty having it on the anime. Never got to use it though because it was a Gen 3, Leaf Green. It is early and those words sounded like Leaf Green exclusive. Mm-hmm. But if I could play through it again, and play Leaf Green, I would probably use it. I also like when it rotates when it's coming at you. That was always appealing to me.
Oh,
it
yeah.
looked like it could cause you damage.
Oh yeah, it looked like it would hurt. I was a little disappointed that Misty never utilized like the psychic aspect of Starmie. I mean, I get it.
Yeah.
Psychic type was kind of broken in Gen 1, but still, Misty had a psychic type on her team. She could have at least had it like confusion or something.
Yeah, she never really like gave into the psychic portion, which was what I was waiting for.
I'm actually gonna look up real quick if Starmie can learn confusion, because I know it can learn psychic, but I just got this sinking feeling that it can't learn confusion, and I feel like I'm about to be torn to shreds.
Trying to retract that real quick.
Yeah, like I said, I know it can learn psychic, and most things that can learn psychic can learn confusion. I'm just double checking real quick. So continue on.
Okay.
Yeah, go on to your last one.
Okay, so my last Pokemon, and bear with me on the pronunciation. I've heard it pronounced different ways, but it's Gastrodon.
Yeah, Gastrodon.
I love Gastrodon. One thing I liked about it was how on the east you could catch it and it would be this bluish, greenish color, and then in the west it would be that pink color.
Mm-hmm.
I always went with the pink version.
Me too.
It was early on in the game when you could get Shellos, and that one took kind of long to evolve, just because I wouldn't rotate it as well as I should have. But I like the water ground typing. It was definitely on my Elite Four team. The only issue I had with it was its speed.
Yeah, it was kind of slow.
It was really slow, but it was kind of like a tank if you used it properly. I always like to use it as a tank, put it out there when I had to revive my Pokemon.
Mm-hmm.
So I used it in a kind of different way, but yep, that's my last favorite water Pokemon.
Okay, and I just looked it up. My sinking feeling was right. Starmie cannot learn confusion. So I retract that statement. I retract that statement, people. Please don't kill me. Please don't murder me in the comments. But I was gonna ask like what your favorite version of Gastrodon was, if it was the east or the west side, like the pink or the blue one.
Oh yeah, definitely the pink one.
Yeah, I like that one just because, like you said, it was early on, and also the fact that like Cynthia in the anime had one, and
yeah,
and also a coordinator in Gen 4, like Dawn's rival Zoe had one, so I was like, okay, this is cool. But also a little side note with Cynthia in the anime, all the Pokemon that she's like been known to have in the anime start with G. Like she has Garchomp, Gastrodon, and Glaceon.
What about Spiritomb?
Like it only showed those three in the anime.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, in the anime, like it only showed her having like three Pokemon, and all three of them started with G. I don't know if that was intentional or whatnot, but my next Pokemon is Gyarados. Gyarados is a strong Pokemon that I love. It was so cool, and then the fact that Misty got over her fear of Gyarados and has it on her team now, and can Mega Evolve it. That was a nice like little thing that the anime did. Is just amazing. Like it's a fierce Pokemon that you don't want to mess with.
Yeah, had you not put Gyarados on your list, I definitely would have picked him up. But yeah, Gyarados is just a scary Pokemon. Tough to get him though in the game, unless you want to put in that work.
Yeah, because Magikarp isn't the strongest.
Yeah, just put the EXP share on Magikarp, and just that's how you're probably gonna do it.
Yeah, but the reason why I put Gyarados on there is because I also put his counterpart on, or at least in my opinion, his counterpart on my list, and that's Milotic. Milotic is just a beautifully strong Pokemon, and used by coordinators such as like Juan and Wallace. It's just such an amazing Pokemon, such a great design. I'm a little disappointed that it doesn't have a secondary typing, because I think that if it were to have a secondary typing, it'd either be Dragon or Fairy. But it's so beautiful, and the fact that the evolutionary line's kind of like based on the ugly duckling, like it starts off like not that attractive and everything, even though I think it's kind of adorable. And then evolves into like this beautiful thing. It's like the definition of glow up.
Yeah, I was also going to put that one on here too until you did.
I just feel like a coordinator should have Milotic on their list.
Yeah, definitely. But the secondary typing, I agree with. It should have something. Fairy would be cool. Dragon would be cool. It should have something. So hopefully, along the lines of the next game or future games, we'll get a secondary typing.
Maybe. But with that concludes our list for the first 3 typings in this series. We hope you enjoyed this episode, and if you agree with any of our lists, let us know. Anyone on our list, let us know in the comments below. If you want to let us know your favorite Pokemon from like the water, fire, and grass typing, like write them down in the comments. We'd love to know. So, do you have anything else, Mike?
Nope, I'm good.
No. Well, so until next time, see you guys.
Bye.
Dancing feet.